Now, can everybody see this? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Right, cool. Hello, I'm a Dumbrit that has an unhealthy obsession with C5s. This, yes. I will be talking about light cav and also how to sort of make cav cores and how to use light cav essentially in the non-combating way, because Migration's already done that. Right, there are two types of light cav. There are C5s and C4s. There's obviously different like formations, like irregular and non-irregular light cav, but that's different. There is a difference between them. The difference is that there's a quite major difference. C4s have a slightly shorter scouting range than C5s, which is so your C4s will get out scouted by C5s, and C5s are quicker, I believe, or at least accelerate quicker. They can also turn around quicker, at least formationally, which is very important for pulling and pulling off models from other cav, for example, like how Bagration said earlier, and it matters quite a lot. Right, Lancers. I'm going to quickly get through this a bit quickly because I don't want this to be dragged. They are the superior race of cavalry, in my opinion. I'm a bit of a Lancer stan. They have They are probably the best anti-cav weapon that's not a square essentially, or like artillery. They're the best like cavalry to kill other cav. Obviously, you can object to it, which is fine, but they have the largest charge bonus, which is, I believe, I can't remember if it's either 1.7 or 2.5. I think it's 2.5 charge bonus. Yeah, it's 2.5. 2.5 charge bonus, which means that even though for example, there's a stat which is like 4, you need to times that up by 2.5, and that's essentially the damage they get, the charge they get. Which means on a charge, Lancers will usually, depending on what cavalry you're charging, usually win 100% of the time, if against a non-Lancer counterpart, on light cavalry wise at least. But non-Lancers are generally cheaper, and also they're also generally better at frontal charges because they usually have higher melee defense. Because Lancers generally have lower defense to balance it out essentially, and also lower engage sustained in melee engagements. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. That's why non-Lancers are still important, like Chasseur, Cheval, and other light cavalry, because they can sustain a melee for longer, as well as generally can be cheaper, especially on the shit Lancers are still more expensive than shit non-Lancers. And also they still provide a large amount of scouting, even if they're only C4s. Right, well, that's the wrong way. Do stats matter? Now, stats generally can matter, but if you have 40 or 20 units of absolute shitter light cavalry, it doesn't. Sometimes stats can wane because there's only so many things an elite Lancer or an elite light cavalry can kill. They aren't all gods, but such things that you might need to look out for, as what Rambo said earlier, was shock resistance and stamina. These two key traits can win, well, at least shock resistance, and can win cav engagements for you. Because shock resistance does what it says on the tin, really. It prevents morale, what's the word? Morale, deprecation, morale loss after losing, let's say losing 20 models out of a 60 model cav. They won't lose off of one chart. They won't lose lots of morale off one massive blow to their regiment size. So again, correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's how it works. And that can be devastating when you charge in and you destroy unit, which means you can sustain the fight for longer, which generally after a charge it's just a matter of morale, as Progression did say. And then stamina. Well, stamina can be very important. It's more important on, shall I say, heavy cavalry, because heavy cavalry in C3s, because they have slower, because it increases the speed of which stamina regains, and can be extremely important for getting more use out of your C1s, getting more use out of your cavalry in general, because as Progression touched upon, stamina is life and death for cavalry, as it means as exhausted or very tired or even tired light cav can be caught by a C3, which generally means death for them unless they are extremely good. And stuff like that. Now this is the general bare bones of the cavalry, of how the cavalry and stats work and all that, and how the different classes work. Again, you can correct me if I'm wrong later once the questions happen, because I'm not as knowledgeable as Progression or maybe other people here. Right, how to use them. I've got a replay. Now let's see if this replay fucking loads. Yes, there we go.
Please, the profanities, please.
Sorry. I'm just a very Englishman, yes. Anyway. This is a game where there is a Platov, which is a C5 cavalry corps, and a Murat. Now, I won't really go into depth with the cav-on-cav violence. I'm more going to talk about how the light cav is used and essentially how it can control the map and can somewhat control the movements of your enemy because of their sheer presence. Now, let's see if this loads. There we go. Right, so I've paused this here. I am playing Platov, so I have Vanguard deployed units. And this is all of the enemy army. So yes, here we go. Also a benefit of C5s is, personally, I think they are faster and they generally go over rough terrain quicker. They also go over rough terrain a lot quicker than any other cavalry in the game. Now, as you can see, the Platov is trying to instantly scout. This is because scouting is so important. Information is so important, especially in the beginning of the game, where you can. Information is vital, especially closer to the beginning, because you can predict where people are going and how to counter them, which is very important for what you're going to do and where you want to go. And getting early information is always can win you battles again. And this is what you use Light Cav for. I love how all the people are leaving as soon as I start.
Not worry.
Please keep up.
Yeah. So yeah, as you can see, the French are attacking me, or not attacking, are moving over to the right. Now this is key information which will help the infantry corps move along and move to where they need to go. You can also see that I'm already that the cav is already trying to get around and try to make sure that there is no cav trying to outflank us, because again, that would be bad. And I'm just subtly trying to make sure that the enemy cav cannot scout or see where else we are. And this is also being done by our Progression on the right, or will be done by the Progression on the right. And this is important to just corral and make sure the enemy is where we want them, essentially, as a team. Unfortunately, I remember this replay is generally quite quick, but it will take a few moments to get into it. But yeah, the enemy. The French compositions are a Davout, a Murat. I think it's Davout, Murat, a 5 points. The 5 point Prussia, and then a eight Schwarzenberg. So they have got quite a lot of cav. They've got they've got a cav corps and then a cav. I believe it was quite a cav heavy corps on the Schwarzenberg. again trying to deny scouting for the enemy, because if they can't see you, they can't exactly formulate a plan. They can guess of where your generals are. If they're skilled, they can guess exactly where you are by hearing you, obviously by hearing them marching. But they can't see the defensive position they're going to go into, or what aggressive maneuvers you are going to do, essentially. And that's the key of using. That's the key of why light cav is so important. I'm going to reiterating it again and again, but light cav is so important for just containing and scouting the enemy positions.
Remember the game.
You remember this game, okay? But yeah, a lot of. But it's light cav is the key. Is generally the key for pre-game maneuvering, or not pre-game, pre-main battle maneuvering.
Deployment phase.
Yeah, deployment phase essentially. Thank you. And as you can see, we're using this information of them going over to the right, which may have, again, it's of them going to the right to essentially try and trap them in a corner by using our migration to go around their flank.
Don't confuse with the migration here.
What, me? Yeah, okay, I won't. But again, I just trying to get around their flank, just trying to consistently get around their flanks, just slowly maneuvering, because you got all the time in the world, because they're trapped by traps. So you got all the time in the world to do something when you have light cav supremacy, because light cav supremacy. Again, you can disagree, and we can discuss all stuff like that. I swear this went faster in my head.
You have 10 minutes left. It's okay.
I mean, I've already really said that my main points is just like controlling, but obviously there's like one major cav engagement I think I want to put, and then the rest is fine. But I've already basically stated what I wanted to say. Like for this replay, it's just corralling them into a corner. This is why, like, because they're. If you look at the map, can you see my mouse? I think you can. If you can see my mouse, they've. I know they've done it semi by themselves, but being a light cav CC and having lots of light cavalry, again, has cemented that they can't take a decision. They can't essentially take a decision to go back without having losses, without being opposed essentially. And it means we can just. So they can't. Yeah, okay. So they can't simply push me away with their light cavalry. Well, they can, but they'll have to use their infantry with it, which will take longer than them just pushing me away. Me being here just is a hindrance, is an annoyance. It also destroys micro ability because I'm at their rear. For example, this Austria is most likely trying to look at me on the left over here, and he got his cav shot, and it's being in their rear and being in their rear and like being annoying as possible, essentially, just slowly deteriorates their micro, and trying to do cheeky things like this where you're just trying to kill a couple models here and now, which every now and again, to slowly weaken down this army and slowly do stuff again, like the Steinheld did over here. It's just making sure that they feel trapped and if they don't have a clear plan, and if they don't have a clear plan going into it, and if they can't enact that clear plan, they start to panic about what they can do, which generally leads to poor decision making, which means they're going to make horrific mistakes. And they are only currently they're moving as one continuous blob to try and prevent being singled off by the cav, which which in turn is meaning they're slowly getting caught and slowly getting harassed by my cav and then by my cav, which is forcing them to square, which we said earlier, which is forcing them to square and slowly being caught up by the G5, by the progression, which would kill them. Again, this is just causing panic and like stuff. And they again, to go back to the point, they can't just push me away with their own light cav because they don't have enough of they don't have enough of their own light cav, and they're also being too passive. And I can just simply run away and like try and get them to overextend and then kill them. It's simple. It just means they can't do anything. It just means they can't do anything with their own cavalry to properly counter our infantry blocks, which is what at the end of the day is your job as a CC, is to help your infantry, is to kill their cavalry and help your own infantry advance. You are not the main killing corps generally. You are only a support corps. Also, this is a nice thing how to not get hit by a square. You just run up to a unit you think can square, and then you don't click charge. You just back out.
5 minutes left.
Right. I thought this replay was. I thought we did more in this replay. I might be thinking of a different game, but it still showed my point. But this is my point. This is basically just my point. You can
You can keep going. Yep.
You can just corral your enemy, and they will do something reckless, like for example attack a pretty well. It will be pretty well defended position, due to the fact they have nothing else. They can't really do anything else. Due to the fact you're in their rear, you're hounding them. You're hounding their cavalry, which again is mainly on you, which they can't do anything else with. That's gonna be this is just showing the effectiveness of cavalry outside of just killing stuff, essentially. Though this, I do think I've probably picked up. I thought I did something better in this replay. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, this is essentially my points, and I'm gonna quickly go to like taking specific units as a cav corps or doing specific things as a CC, just quickly, because again, not running out of time, but the time is not good. Right, let's what's a good CC for this? Okay, I'll take 10 Mura as an example. Now, personally, I think certain units, like for example, this unit of cav right here, I think is very, very good for its price, because it's just a small, relatively high morale light cav, well, Lancer cav. It's very good. It's very good for that reasons, and you also get some very good top division cavalry. And once you take top division, you have money to spare, which means you can then either go into dragoons, or you can bring more than one C1. If you took combat gens, you can bring more than one C1, or bring more than one C1, and other things like that. Let's go to TOW, because this is supposed to be for people who are this is supposed to be for people who play pub games and stuff like that. Right, I've got this. Right, with Poland, for example, you get some of the best light cavalry in the game, or the best light cavalry in the game with Tardius. The best lancer in the game, I mean, with Tardius. And then you can support it with dragoons, and basically making a CC is essentially mainly with making a CC is generally just trying to do what your allies need, what your infantry corps need. Because your infantry corps may need more light cav. Because at the end of the day, you as a CC, you shouldn't be the only one bringing cavalry. Your allies, if you're in a core game or in stuff like that, your allies should be bringing their own cavalry. You are there as a CC to support your allies and to give them opportunities to kill the enemy. And basically you're just there to support. You're a support corps. You're not supposed to be getting all the kills. You should never be getting all the kills. So you need to bring what is best for your team. You can't, not for yourself, because at the end of the day, bringing 6 units of heavy cav may be fun, but if your team has a lack of light cav or a lack of or a lack of other medium cav or something like that, you need to bring that for them. Anyway, this is the end of my lecture because I'm running out of things to say. So yeah. Any questions, please? I'm gonna.
Well, that's exactly on time. Thank you, Wolfie, so much.
Well, I try to.
Do we do we have any questions on the topics that been said, which is mainly C4, C5 gameplay, and then quickly hovering over how to build a cav core, please?
Can I ask a
about
question?
camels?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Can I
you-
ask about camels?
Jan, Sebastian, please.
Yes, like I heard that camels like ignore squares or something like that. Is it true?
Ignore squares. Sorry, what do you mean?
Like that
You heard the
camels,
cavalry.
you know?
Oh, camels.
Yeah.
So okay, well, camel. It's not that they ignore squares. They will still get the full like stat bonus. They will still get the punishment for charging a full stat bonus square, but they don't have a animation to like get them off the rider. They don't have a stop animation, so your unit will just still plow into that square. They will still take heavy damage. They will still take heavy damage when you charge them because it's still a square at the end of the day. But they are much better square killers than they do kill squares. They are the only unit in the game. They're the only type of cavalry in the game that can consistently kill squares that isn't ranged because of the fact it doesn't have an animation. But you will still lose. You will still most likely lose the cav unit, but you will kill more units in a square, and you will possibly break it if it's already if it's a damaged square, or if it's like if it's just got a poor morale unit that can square, you will break it just from the damage, just from the morale damage of killing like 30 units. Any other questions?
Thank you.
yeah, I do have a question.
Yes. Okay, progression.
So in the CAF core building, yes?
Yes.
The main price difference beside the stats is the like shock res and like stamina, yes? That units
Yes.
have.
I mean,
So
yeah.
I mean, and the size too, I guess. But
Yeah,
is it important for you, the shock res and stamina?
I'd say it's really okay. Shock res stamina, I think, is extreme. Like personally, because I'm not very good at C1s. I think stamina on a C1 or heavy cav is very important to get the most out of that unit, because you can do multiple charges in quick succession when they're not like without them being extremely tired. On light cav, less so, I would personally say, because depending on how much you bring, because if you have lots of light cav as a CC, then you can cycle those units around to where you have a unit resting and a unit like who's already fresh, essentially. So it's not the most important. And shock res is just nice to have, though it's not. It's just nice. It's nice to have, and I think is a must on like elite. It's a must on like generally a must on high stats units. So just so you don't personally, again, people can disagree. It's nice to have on high stats units so they won't like rout after losing 10 models in one go. It's just like I would expect on an expensive cavalry unit for it to have those stats at least. I don't think I answered your question very well.
Okay.
But,
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, wait. Thank you so much. We have room for 2 more questions, so please.
any more questions? If you don't have any, it's fine.
I have another one, but
Okay, go ahead.
that's
Yeah, you can.
All right.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, you told about like using CAF to like cut them off, but
Yep.
we didn't actually like say what to do if I'm getting cut off by your CAF. What should I do to like not get smashed, pretty much?
If you're getting if you're getting cut off by my cav or by cav in general, the best thing to do is like you'd have to probably react relatively quickly to it, because the longer you stay cut off from that cav, the more likely there is an infantry corps coming to kill you, and or at least the best thing for you to do is to either to try and push towards allies with squareable infantry and cavalry, because cavalry and with square infantry cavalry and use them together, because otherwise, and like you want to get the cav that's cutting you off to charge you. Essentially, that's your end goal. To charge you, and then you can kill it. So you want to be very open at using squares extremely in front, using square infantry in front of your cavalry. They should be baitable units to where they want to get charged. Even non-squareable infantry is good because you can force a cavalry unit to charge it, and then you can side charge that cavalry unit. Again, trying to break. You just need to try and break away from them. Also, ask if this is if it's a game where you're like if it's an organized game, for example, and you're in contact with your allies, you probably want to ask them for help getting cav, because if the cav is cutting you,
Okay. Wolfie, please, we're running out of time. Make it short.
Okay. Yeah, it's fine. Essentially just get cav to basically either bait them to charge you or get an ally to help you like crush the their cav, because they would be in because the cav that's separating you will also be in a vulnerable position because they won't have reinforcements quick like there before your allies will get there.
So thank you.
Okay, one last question, but a really quick one, or
I'll
a
try and
simple
answer
one,
quickly.
please. Going once, going twice, going thrice. Okay, no more questions. Yes, so thank you so much, Wolfie, for your part of the lecture. I think the C4, C5, everybody who struggled before or didn't know how to use lances before, now has a way clearer picture of it. And I would like to proceed with the third part of our lecture by